Welcome to another edition of the CS Podcast, where you can hear interviews with special guests such as
Dale Buchanan, Tom Waddle, Pierre Desir, Brent Berry, Ed Werder,
and many others.
Too big, too strong, too fast, too good.
So be sure to subscribe and tune in to the CS Podcast on YouTube at youtube.com/ChristianRE722.
Did you not get the memo?
That's www.youtube.com/ChristianRE722 for great interviews. Be sure to check out the CS Podcast.
You are ridiculous.
Welcome back to the CS Podcast. I'm your host, Chris Shanafel, and I'm now joined by 2015 NFL Draft prospect, wide receiver out of Shippensburg University, Trevor Harman. Thanks for taking some time to chat, Trevor. How's it going?
Hey, I'm doing well, Chris. Thanks for having me.
The pleasure's all mine, and let's get right to it. Now, coming out of Cumberland Valley High School, you had a lot of success at both wide receiver and defensive back. You were actually voted first team by the Mid-Penn Commonwealth Conference at both positions. I just want to start this interview off by asking you a pretty simple question, and that is, coming out of high school, why did you decide to attend Shippensburg University and play for the Red Raiders?
Actually, there was a lot of different things that went into this decision. Shippensburg was the only school to recruit me to play offense, so it was actually kind of weird how it all worked out. There's probably about 8 different schools that were recruiting me, and every single one of them besides Shippensburg, so 7 of them, wanted me to play safety or corner. And as I'm kind of going through this process, going on official visits, all that good stuff, and I'm kind of thinking to myself, do I want to play defense or do I want to play offense? And I was kind of leaning more towards offense, but I never really played offense until my senior year of high school, and it went well. I chose Shippensburg. One reason is because they wanted me to play offense. They had a wing T offense, and we had a wing T in high school. So I figured that I would have kind of a leg up on everybody. And I know that the wing T is very, very confusing for some people because it's more of a numbering system than words. So being able to know all that information already, I didn't have to learn it. It was just kind of how they did things was different than how we did them. But then also my last reason was because it's only 45 minutes from my house. So my parents had no excuse not to be able to come to every single game.
Nice. Close to home. Can't go wrong with that. Now, you redshirted your first year, and in 2011, as a redshirt freshman, you started 6 of the 11 total games that you played in that season, and the Shippensburg Red Raiders website nailed it on the head. You exploded onto the scene. You actually led the team in every receiving category with 43 receptions for 681 yards and 9 touchdowns. Did you expect to have that type of impact on the team so early on in your college football career?
No, never. This whole process, if you would have told me coming into my freshman year that you have potential to be in the NFL someday, I definitely would have laughed at you and probably walked away. Just kind of having this opportunity is a blessing, but that freshman year, to be able to do something like that, and we switched to a spread offense then, and I've never seen a spread, or I've seen spreads a little bit, but not like what we were doing, except for on TV. So being able to do that my redshirt freshman year kind of set the tone early.
With the impressive season you had as a freshman, of course, you were able to secure a starting spot as a sophomore, and in 2012 you continued to shine as you brought in 75 catches for 1,200 yards and a Shippensburg single-season record with 19 touchdown receptions. Those first 2 seasons of yours, Trevor, you were able to play on the opposite side of another very talented wide receiver in Jake Baskerville. You guys were definitely a nice 1-2 punch, very effective. How would you say you guys made each other better? How did you guys complement one another so well?
We called him Basket, so if I refer to him as Basket, that's why. But Jake was an amazing athlete, amazing receiver. We did things that I would go across the middle and take the brunt of that stuff, and he would just either toast them deep or use the sideline to his advantage. He was very, very shifty. He was very quick on his feet. He had great hands, and he ran great routes. So us being out there together was fun. We always wanted to beat each other in the stat column, so that kind of pushed both of us.
Nice. And like I said, you had a very solid season as a sophomore. It's crazy to think that you could have done much better, but that's exactly what you did as a junior in 2013, Trevor. You were able to put up the greatest season by any wide receiver at Shippensburg University with 105 receptions for over 1,400 yards and 22 touchdowns. Those are legit Madden numbers right there, man. Having that type of record-setting season, what were your expectations for this past season, knowing that it'll be your final go-around at the college level?
Well, that had happened. We had our senior quarterback that was there. I know that he wanted to make a push to the NFL, so I told myself, listen, this is going to come down to you. You got to make sure, you got to give him the best opportunity. So wherever my number was called, I always made sure that I came through for him. Now this past season, I had a lot of expectations. I had a lot of hopes. A lot of hopes and dreams were high. This year we got hit with the injury bugs pretty bad. It stunk throughout the season, seeing that this is my senior year, my last go about it. But I mean, I had the most fun this season that I probably ever had in my college career. It was a great learning experience, and it was so much fun. And I guess I was more appreciative of this season than any season that I've ever been a part. Because you never know. I mean, that could have been my last football season.
Right. And, well, you know, looking back, it was still another very solid season for you, despite all the injuries the team suffered. You were able to haul in 98 receptions for over 940 yards and 11 touchdowns. And as a team, like you said, it probably wasn't the season you guys expected to have, although you guys did finish over 500 with a 6-5 record. Has it sunk in yet that you've played in your final college football game?
No, definitely not. I still feel like I'm heading back to school in a couple of weeks. So, kind of knowing that I have that diploma now is very, very strange. It's something that I'm not used to. It's going to be weird whenever 5:30, 5 o'clock in the morning rolls around, and I know they're getting up to go for a run, and I get to sleep in my nice warm bed.
And how would you describe your overall experience playing football at Shippensburg University?
Phenomenal. It was. I've said this many times, and I told my parents this. It was definitely the best decision that I've ever made in my life. Shippensburg's given me the opportunity to do so much, and it's taught me so many things that I'll always be grateful for, not just on the field, but off the field as well. So I'm very, very appreciative of it for me and what I've done for them.
Chris Schanfeld talking to 2015 NFL draft prospect, wide receiver out of Shippensburg University, Trevor Harman. And Trevor, throughout your entire college football career, who would you say is the best or most impressive player you've played against?
There's been a lot. So I have to go probably a linebacker from Williamsburg, Justin Shirk. I actually had the opportunity to play against Justin Shirk in high school as well. He was Central Dolphin, but back then he was a quarterback, and he was still a big boy. So as I'm on defense and he's on offense, I'm always trying to intercept him. But yeah, definitely playing against him in college. It's kind of one of those things that you're thinking, oh man, whenever I catch this screen, I know he's going to be streaming down the line. So you better get your butt moving pretty quick. So yeah, definitely got to say Justin Shirk. He's a tough kid.
Very nice, very nice. Another guy that has a bright future as well, coming from the D2 school, Bloomsburg University. I actually had the chance to speak with him just a few weeks ago. Now, if you had to single out one, what's the biggest or most memorable play that you've made throughout your time at Shippensburg?
Wow, that's a tough one. I guess there's a lot of them. I would probably have to say against Bloomsburg on national TV. Just one touchdown that I'll never forget is the very first touchdown that we scored. It was a battle up until then. I think it just happened in the second quarter. First quarter was 0-0. We went down to the red zone actually twice. Got stuffed once and threw a pick in the other one. So they didn't make it down the red zone once in that first quarter. So we're sitting there and we got to punch one of these in or we can get behind quickly. So we were about 40 yards out. We went a little wheel route on the side and went to the back of the end zone. So we threw a perfect ball. Running back to the end zone, and I was pretty hyped after that, just knowing that, hey, this is on national TV, and people got to watch you score a touchdown. So I'd probably say that was one of the most memorable, but there's definitely a bunch of them.
Sounds good. Now, earlier you told me that if I were to tell you a few years ago that you would eventually be getting ready for the NFL draft, you would think I was lying. Well, what if I told you when you were coming out of high school, or even at some point during that redshirt freshman year of yours, that you would finish your Shippensburg football career as the best wide receiver to ever put on the pads for the Red Raiders, and ultimately be one of the best wide receivers in all of D2 football? What would you tell me then?
I probably would have laughed again and said, I'll be lucky if I see the field. Now, whenever I play, and I always have confidence in everything I do. So, being the best that's ever come, or having the best numbers that's ever come through Shippensburg that's a dream come true. I knew that someday I was going to be able to play. I knew that someday I was going to be able to see the field. But to be a 4-year starter and have the season or the career that I did is is unspeakable, and I'm forever grateful.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now, Trevor, there hasn't been many, but there has been a few former Shippensburg Red Raiders that have made it to the NFL, including 2 Pro Bowlers that are playing nowadays, Brent Grimes and John Kuhn. Is there any chance that you've been able to speak with anybody that has had any type of experience at the next level, and have they given you any advice as to what to expect during this draft process?
Actually, after I broke the touchdown record, the scoring title at Shippensburg, John Kuhn actually wrote me a letter because I broke his record. And in the letter, it kind of says keep your head on straight, kind of good luck with everything. Just know that people that have done this, that you will play with a chip on your shoulder. It will be an uphill battle, but to persevere and to not give up. So that's kind of word that I really thought about, and that letter will be carrying with me wherever I go.
Oh, man, I mean, that just sounds awesome. I'm sure you're going to be on that frame one day.
I was very fortunate. I was very lucky to get it.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Chris Schanfeld talking to 2015 NFL draft prospect, wide receiver out of Shippensburg University, Trevor Harman. And, Trevor, what do you feel is your biggest strength as a wide receiver?
I'm going to have to say my ability to adapt. Throughout my college career, I had 3 different offenses and 4 years of playing, which is pretty crazy to think about. Now, the last 2 were kind of the same thing. They were both in no huddle. But we still had different plays. We still had different hand signals. We still had different formations, all that stuff. So kind of just being able to do all that and then not lose a step at all. And being able to play at 100%, picking up the offense very fast, and being coachable. Something that I always pride myself on is the coach tells me one thing one time, and that's it. I'll never make that same mistake again. I'll never have to be coached on something again.
And how about a weakness? Is there anything specific you'll be taking some time to improve on during the offseason?
I'll probably say maybe blocking a little better. Blocking the linebackers mainly. Blocking corners and safeties is a little easier. Just kind of getting inside when coming from the slot position is a little challenging. But that's all about just making the right first step. And you got to go when the ball snaps because they're moving pretty fast.
All right, now let's say there's an NFL general manager listening to this very interview. Why should he want wide receiver Trevor Harman out of Shippensburg University a part of his team?
I'm accountable, and I'm always persistent. I'll never give up, and being accountable, I'll always be on time. I'll always be early. That's something that I've really prided myself on throughout my life, and my parents have really bestowed those things onto me, those values, is always being on time, be held accountable for your actions, regardless good or bad. You got to own up to it as a man. So being accountable and always being persistent. And you'll never see my head down on the sideline, even if we go 3 and out all first half. Never had a head down. It's always the glass is half full kind of mentality, and got to get the job done.
Hey, man, you're saying all the right things. Gotta love it. Gotta love it.
Thank you.
Chris Schanfeld on to 2015 NFL draft prospect, wide receiver Trevor Harman here on the CS podcast. And Trevor, just a few more questions, then I'll let you go. I really do appreciate your time. Is there a wide receiver currently playing in the NFL today that you would compare yourself to? And if so, who would that be and why?
Oh, man, I had this question a lot, and I guess it's probably changed every single time I thought about it. I love playing in the slot. I love doing all that stuff. I love Wes Welker's kind of a guy that stands out a little bit just because he plays in the slot a lot. He makes those tough catches. He gets popped a good amount. He still gets up, keeps going. But also Larry Fitzgerald. I'm actually a Cardinals fan, so seeing Larry Fitzgerald's role kind of changed a little bit this year. He's moved to the slot a lot. And, last night, I know they lost against the Panthers, but he made some tough catches in crunch time yesterday. I know there's about 3rd and 13, and, he got hit as he was catching, he still caught it. And, he's an incredible guy on and off the field, and he's a really good and nice dude as well. So, this is probably the 3rd time I've changed it. I probably had to say Larry Fitzgerald, just kind of being in that slot position, always being at the right place at the right time, making the tough catches.
Absolutely. Whether it's Larry Fitzgerald or Wes Welker, 2 of the best playing in the NFL, so you certainly cannot go wrong with either of them. Is there any chance that you've been invited to any college all-star games or have anything in the works?
Yeah, actually, I have one in the works. It's January 31st. It's the Texas vs. the Nation all-star game. It's down in Arlington, Texas, at UT Arlington. So I'm actually very, very excited about that, to get down there and play some more football.
Very nice. It's going to be fun going against some of the top talent in the nation in front of some scouts, so you definitely cannot go wrong with that. That's definitely going to be a great time, I'm sure. And last but not least, Trevor, here's a fun one to end the interview. What's something about yourself that many people may not know?
I guess there's a couple things. The first is, when I first came to college, actually, I'll say my senior year. My senior year, I was about 6 foot, 165 pounds, and now I'm about 6'2", 210. So just kind of, I used to be tiny, I used to be small, I used to be slow. So I mean, just for kids out there that are aspiring to be an NFL athlete or collegiate athlete, it's just something never give up. My coach many times told me that I would never make it, I would never be able to do anything because of how small and slow I was. But I kind of used that as a chip on my shoulder and really pushed through. But then the last one is probably, I almost quit my freshman year, to be completely honest. I'll never forget it. My mom called me after a meeting, and I hated my life at one point there. It was not fun during camp. So my mom called me. She knew I was upset. She said she was going to come get me that night. And I was all about it. I'm like, heck yeah, I want out of here. My dad called me right afterward, talked me out of it. Said, listen, if you don't like it by the end of the season, you can quit. Well, lo and behold, about 2 days later, I fell in love with it. And I'm here today.
Yeah, now you're here today getting ready for the 2015 NFL Draft. Crazy how things work out, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, hey, Trevor, I got to say, man, it really was a true pleasure speaking with you. I really do appreciate your time. Congratulations on a very successful college football career, and I'm wishing you nothing but the best throughout this process. You have anything else for us before I let you go?
Nope, just Chris, thank you so much for having me. I really, really appreciate your words of advice and everything, and hopefully someday I can get you some tickets.
Hey, sounds good, man. Sounds good. Chicago Bears, all right?
Yeah, that sounds good to me.
All right, well, thanks again, man, and take care, all right?
All right, Chris, you too.